Hello. Good evening. My name is Susan Harris, and I'm the Executive Director of the USC Joint Educational Project, or JEP. And I'm so happy to welcome all of you to tonight's Community Service Awards dinner. It's the first time we've been here at Town and Gown since 2019, so it's really wonderful to be back here and celebrating with all of you tonight. For those of you not familiar with JEP, we're a service learning and community engagement program based in the Dornsife College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. And we partner with faculty and community organizations to create a wide range of experiences for students off campus at community sites. This event is made possible through the generosity of Grace and Henry Salvatori. You probably recognize that name from buildings on campus. But more than 40 years ago, they had the foresight to create an endowment to support students who contribute to their communities through service, advocacy, and engagement. And today, the Community Service Awards ceremony has expanded to recognize engaged families, or faculty, and partners as well. These partnerships between students, professors, advocates, and local organizations are really at the heart of this work. And they're critical to meeting the university's educational and community objectives. So tonight we will hear about the extraordinary dedication of a number of students, faculty, and community partners whose work with local neighborhoods and organizations has really been truly profound. And I am certain that the Salvatoris, were they able to be here today, they'd be delighted to know the legacy that they've left and that it continues to support truly inspiring work. But before we get started, I want to call your attention to the screens. We have a special message from USC's president, Dr. Carol Folt.
Thank you, Susan. It's an honor to help kick off tonight's ceremony, and I really wish I could be there in person. Celebrating JEP's 50th anniversary in Town and Gown last November was a very special event. So I didn't want to miss the opportunity to congratulate all of you on another amazing year. Since day one, JEP has been about opening doors and changing lives. It was my privilege to award the Presidential Medallion, one of our university's highest honors, to JEP last week. Susan and Tammy Anderson accepted the award on behalf of you, the JEP family. And just this past year alone, your golden anniversary, you took on representation in STEM with the STEAM-Powered Careers book collection. You launched a new service learning summer program with USC's thematic open honors program and Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And you engaged alums and supporters through USC's Days of Service. Soon, you're going to be back at the Festival of Books. And I just love it that the JEP Readers Plus booth is always one of the busiest, the biggest draws in the Kids Zone. What I love most about JEP is that every single one of you encourages others to do better, to be better, and to dream bigger. Let's continue to open our hearts, and we'll serve on and we'll fight on together.
So as Dr. Folt noted, JEP is coming off a pretty remarkable year. We did celebrate our golden anniversary in November with a gala that brought together generations of JEP participants and supporters. And truly, the opportunity to think back on 50 years of service and reconnect with so many people was both heartwarming and humbling. And we have quite a few exciting things on the horizon as well. President Folt mentioned that we have an upcoming exchange program with Thematic Option Honors Program in Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And right after commencement, 6 USC students will head to Hong Kong for a month-long program focused on food justice and food insecurity issues in the region. And then they'll come back to Los Angeles in June, along with 6 PolyU students, and explore some of the same complex issues here within the context of Southern California. This program, as with all of JEP's programs, was designed with access and equity in mind. And while this goal defines our work within local communities, I also want to highlight one of our important new initiatives that focuses on access and inclusion for USC students. Although service and contributing to one's community is arguably the responsibility of an engaged citizen, it is also a privilege. Not everyone has the luxury to contribute uncompensated time and labor to service. Recognizing this, and wanting to ensure that no USC student is limited from participating in any of our programs due to financial reasons, JEP recently established the Tamara Seabrook Anderson Spirit of Service Award, named in honor of JEP's former director, Tammy Anderson, from whom we'll hear from a little bit later in the program. And thanks to the enthusiastic support of several donors, we have already raised $100,000 to subsidize the service of JEP students with demonstrated financial need. We piloted this program in the spring, and I'm happy to announce that the Spirit of Service Award will subsidize the trips of 4 of the students going to Hong Kong this summer. We're planning to expand the program in the fall, and we'll continue our fundraising efforts to support students in perpetuity. So, for the students in the room, I hope you'll take note and be on the lookout for more information about this program in the fall. And for those of you who are graduating, well, you can think of this as an opportunity to pay it forward. And I'm sure you're probably thinking to yourself, you haven't even graduated yet, and here's someone from USC asking you for money. And I can assure you this will just be the very first of many such requests from the university. But seriously, the fact is that everyone in this room is touched in some way through philanthropy, either through the support one gives or the support one receives, or in many cases both. It is easy to forget that the university is a nonprofit organization, and so all of our endeavors, whether research or service or teaching, depends in some part on the generosity of donors. And I am beyond grateful to the individuals and the corporations and the private foundations that have provided support to our organization over 50 years. So if anyone would like to support JEP, there are many opportunities to do so, and there is a little information on the program on your table if you are so inclined. But back to the main reason we are here tonight, which is to honor the outstanding service and engagement of our awardees. And as Dr. Folt mentioned, this celebration really started a week ago when Tammy Anderson and I accepted this very fancy presidential medallion. And truly, we accepted this on all of our behalf. As Dr. Folt noted, this was a recognition for the work that we do to promote the excellence of the institution. So really, congratulations to all of us. This work, for which we were all recognized, is fundamentally about partnerships and collaboration. Each partnership is greater than the sum of its parts, and if truly sustainable, maintained by something other than the leaders who are in charge. It is the coming together around a shared vision and purpose wherein the magic lies. Yet, the contributions of individuals within these partnerships are critical, and sometimes there are individuals whose contributions to the partnership transcend ordinary expectations, and whose exceptional efforts radiate with a specialness that shines through. So it is fitting that the awards presentation, we will begin them tonight by recognizing one of our strongest community partners, someone who shines brightly in her work to support one of USC's longest-standing partnerships with 32nd Street School. So introducing this award and its very special awardee is Richard Flegel, who is the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs in the Dornsife College. Richard has been a long advocate for JEP and for supporting community-based learning in Dornsife. So please join me in giving me a warm welcome to Richard.
Thank you, Susan. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I am Richard Flegel. I am Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs in Dornsife College. And in that capacity, I've had a long history with JEP. I've extolled the virtues to previous deans, and at one point the program even reported to me. My commitment to experiential learning reaches even further back for community service and also for overseas study. Before I returned to school for my PhD, I worked for a community service organization, the New York Center for Community Affairs, which brought federal job funds into the Bronx as part of the Comprehensive Employment and Training Act. We worked with all sorts of institutions, including a psychiatric hospital in our neighborhood and some other places. Placements with these institutions make clear how interdisciplinary community-based work really is, how each member of a team contributes differently and requires different educational training to succeed as a professional. My family chose overseas studies. My older boy studied in London, where he met friends from Greece, Indonesia, and the United Kingdom, and he brought back 3 of them to California with him when he returned. My younger son was determined to go even farther than his brother, so he went to New Zealand, which has more sheep than it has people. And my wife was happy to see that he did not bring back any sheep when he returned to the United States. But both boys learned to see ourselves as others see us, and that's one of the essential outcomes that we associate with experiential learning of all kinds. Today, I'm honored to present the first award of the evening, the Dornsife Award for Exceptional Service, which is given each year for extraordinary volunteers contributing to Dornsife College. Over the last 10 years, it has recognized recipients who shared their time, talents, and treasure with the Joint Educational Project in particular, which, as you've been told 3 times already, just won the Presidential Medallion this week. This year, the award could not go to a more deserving recipient. Nellie Cristales is a second-grade teacher at the 32nd Street School, was served for 20 years as the JEP coordinator, the key liaison between our 2 schools. Her connection to both the 32nd Street School and to USC also go back a very long way. Nellie Cristales enrolled in kindergarten in the 32nd Street School in 1975, and she continued through middle school. She remembers seeing JEP students when she was a student there. She attended downtown Magnet High School and enrolled in USC, where she graduated in 2001 with a bachelor's degree from college, which wasn't Dornsife yet, and a teaching credential from Rossier, the School of Education. She has been fiercely loyal to both schools ever since, as she is dedicated to her own students. Tina Konezny, Associate Director over here of JEP, says about Nellie, quote, "Nellie will go above and beyond for her 32nd Street student scholars to make them believe that they can and will be successful. If you just walk into her classroom, you'll see nothing but positive energy and encouragement for our community's young scholars." What comes to mind when I think of Nellie is how compassionate she is, says Brenda Pesante, the JEP Director of Community Partnerships. Nellie, this award is a result of your hard work and a fearless spirit. Personal connections and commitment to our students have distinguished Nellie Cristales' career as an educator and a caring member of the local community. Outside of work, she volunteers as a homeless shelter with the soccer team. Her spirit has inspired everyone who works with her, but most important are the praises of students who have learned from her. Carly Hamill, a teaching assistant in the Young Scientists program, reported, quote, "Ms. Cristales so clearly cares about the future of her students. I've never had a class that is as engaged in the lesson and excited to learn as I have with her students." Now, personally, I hope Carly had some equally engaged classmates in her classes at USC. But what we hear in her comment, I think, is how her time in Nellie's classroom affected her personally. Carly and decades of USC students, like her, learned to see their neighbors in new ways and passed that inspiration on to all the students that have worked in local schools over the years. If one act of service to another human being is like a pebble in a pond, rippling out in all directions, imagine the waves of learning and interpersonal connections Nellie Cristales has launched throughout our community. On behalf of Carly and all the other students, both at USC and at the 32nd Street School, who benefited from Nellie Cristales' care and attention, let's thank her for her work over these years. So please join me in welcoming Nellie Cristales to receive the Dornsife Award for Exceptional Service.
It was all well until he said 1975. I hope you did not do the math right there. But it is a very humbling, to be here, to be honored today, as I am surrounded by such amazing honorees. I want to thank you for joining us this evening and as part of this great celebration. When Brenda, my wonderful director at Community Partnerships at JEP, sent me that email, I was in class and I was teaching, and it said, "You are getting the Dornsife Award for Exceptional Service." And my heart was filled with just so much joy, like I'm feeling that right now, I'm trying to hold my kneecaps together because it's so exciting. And in a loud voice, I said, "No way!" And when I said, no way, all of my scholars were like, "What happened, Ms. Cristales? What happened?" They were so excited. And I said, "Guess what? What happened?" I was trying to make it intriguing. And I said, "I just got an email from USC. And I am getting an award for what I do for the community." And they clapped and they cheered. And I have one student who always calls me princess. He's like, "Congratulations, my princess." That filled me with full of happiness. So it is that precise reaction, that one right there, that becomes my daily motivation to support my community. I once was part of the community myself, as I lived at 30th Street, right behind Jack in the Box, where those little houses that are now dorms. That's where I grew up. I also attended 32nd Street School, kindergarten through 9th grade. And I became a USC student. And now I serve as a USC liaison. So does Trojan blood flow through me? Definitely. The impact of to giving to others through this long after, it's been through long after school hours. When I go out of my parking structure, the parking lot, my van is the only one there. It's 4:35, 4 or 5 o'clock. But it is taking leadership roles that adds, it does add a little bit of load of more work to my to-do list, but it's all worth it. I see the smiles of the faces of not only my students, but of my parents. I serve the community with the time and dedication, and by bringing USC programs to our site. My school is a K through 12, and all the programs that I bring benefit their families as well. I enjoy serving as a bridge and helping to make seamless, inaccessible opportunities accessible to our families. And I am able to make it possible with the help of the USC Community Partnerships. So I thank you all here who do exceptional service in community, as well as those who serve the community through continuous donations to programs. This allows us to offer community programs to our families free of charge. Programs such as JEP Readers Plus, JEP Tutors and Mentors, JEP STEM educational programs, USC Dance, and the amazing list goes on and on and on. So it is an honor to be part of the Trojan family. It is an honor to be part of a larger network that can reach out to our community and make a difference that impacts the lives beyond the classroom. The work that we do shines a light of hope. It shines love, and it shines in a time where the world is crying out for support. So thank you, JEP staff, for selecting me to receive such an honorable recognition. And thank you for recognizing the impactful community engagement service of all of our students and all of our families. Thank you all, and I still have like 5 more cards, but I'll stop right here. Thank you very much.
So, one of the highest goals we can set for ourselves is to change the lives of other people, particularly young people, for the better. There can be no doubt that Nelly Cristales has done that over and over and over again. Of course, the most meaningful recognition comes from the students whose lives she affected, but evenings like this give the rest of us a chance to show how much we appreciate her accomplishments. With that good feeling, we'll take a break in the presentation of awards to have dinner. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed your dinner and you're enjoying your dessert. Again, my name is Tina Konechny. I'm Associate Director at JEP, and I'm really happy to be celebrating with all of you tonight, this very special event. Still hot off the heels of our 50th anniversary and my 25th anniversary here at USC myself, being gifted enough to work at JEP. Thank you. So let's also give a hand to the staff of Town and Gown. They always make this such a beautiful event, the food, the flowers, the ambiance, everything. Before we continue with our program, we would like to acknowledge some very special guests that are with us tonight. We want to thank you all for your support. So I'm going to ask that you stand when I call your name, but hold the applause. I'll cue you for the applause. So first, from University Administration, David Galaviz, Associate Vice President, Community and Local Government Partnerships. Did I see David? No, David? He's here in spirit. Gary Perez, President and CEO of the USC Credit Union. Thank you, welcome. Ishwar Puri, Senior Vice President for Research and Innovation. Kim Thomas Barrios, my good friend and pal, where are you? Stand. There you go, girl. Associate Senior Vice President, K-12 Educational Partnerships. And Effie Turnbull Sanders, Vice President, Civic Engagement and Economic Partnerships. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Next up, from the Dornsife Dean's Leadership Team, we have Tamara Anderson, my also good friend and pal, Associate Dean of Experiential and Applied Education, and Richard Flegel, who you met earlier tonight, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs. Yeah, we're waiting for you, Richard. We see you. Thank you very much. And from Financial Aid, Jasmine Mencius Pablo, Senior Assistant Director, Aid Coordination Unit. Jasmine. Okay, here in spirit as well. And then also some special guests, Tracy Murray, Principal of Fauché Learning Center. I know I saw you, Tracy. Welcome. Brandon Ramirez, Director of Corporate Social Responsibility and External Relations, Hyundai Motor America. Hello. And Victor Sanchez. Victor, he is Principal of the Alexander Science Center. Let's give these folks a round of applause as well. Also on your programs, we also have some other special guests who were on our committees for the awards. So you can take a look at those. We have a bunch of awards tonight, and we had committees for all of them. If you were on a committee, could you please stand and be recognized for your time and efforts? Debbie, yes, everybody. They read all of those students, hard decisions, lots of amazing students. So thank you all for your hard work. Finally, we want to thank our generous donors, our current donors, our future donors, yes, seniors. Susan mentioned you earlier, talking about you. We welcome all of you tonight, and we really couldn't put on this event, we couldn't do the work that we do without your support. And with that, it seems that I did not print the last page of my introduction. I know I have the distinct honor of introducing Ishwar Puri to present the next award. Is that right, Susan? Yes. So Ishwar, nice to meet you again. Come join us at the stage to give our next award.
Well, if that applause was for me, wait till you hear about our awardee. She's terrific. I'm here to present the JEP Award for Community Engaged Teaching and Research. The award was established in 2019 to recognize excellence in integrating community engagement in teaching and/or research. And so very fittingly this year, JEP is recognizing excellence in community engaged research by honoring Dr. Zoe Corwin, who is a research professor at the USC Rossier School for her work through the Puglia Center for Higher Education. Now there's a saying in community engaged research that not about us, not without us. And Zoe essentially exemplifies that. The foundational guiding principle of ethical community engagement is to form respectful and collaborative partnerships that are mutually beneficial, and they go both ways. So Dr. Corwin's community engaged work beautifully exemplifies these guiding principles, and I'll give you some examples later. Now, community engaged research can have a lasting impact on the community, but equally importantly, on the institution where the community engaged work is done. There's a positive impact when it's done in partnership on both of those partners. And Dr. Corwin's work does exactly that. Let me talk to you a little bit about her research. She serves as a principal investigator for the Promoting at Promise Student Success Project, or the PASS project. And her research through that project examines college access for at promise students and college pathways for students with experiences in foster care. She also looks at the role of social media and games in post-secondary access and completion, and the impact of skateboarding on communities. And she considers them her participants. So just this coming weekend, she's going to a surf and skate conference in San Diego, and she's taking eight skateboarders with her because it's a participatory conference. And they're going to talk about how skateboarding is a means of access for students to become engaged in education and in post-secondary education. She works with a skate park, which is run by some amazing people in LA. And at the skate park, you essentially get points. Well, not you, but the skateboarders. You get points for doing various things. So you do academic things, you get points, and that then allows you to access a ramp. It allows you to check out skateboarding equipment. And those are the kinds of things she researches. She's also been involved in game design with the gaming program at USC, where through the game, and I'll give you an example. So when you play Monopoly, you're playing not with real money, but with sort of funny money, right? and you learn all about strategy. And her games are designed in such a way that students learn strategy, and that strategy is how to, for instance, fill out the FAFSA form. And why is that important? And what she's shown when her games have been introduced, and these are electronic games, have been introduced into schools for students, the FAFSA fulfillment rate, or the form completion rate, is higher than in control sites where the games were not introduced. So, essentially, what Dr. Corwin is particularly interested in is in systemic approaches to improving educational and societal institutions. And all of these examples illustrate for us the strong commitment of her passion for working with at-promise students and for practitioners and with practitioners and community members alike. So I think what these examples essentially show you is that she's entrepreneurial, she's passionate, she's not entitled, she goes out and seeks funding. She's now in the middle of a discussion about an enormously large award that will promote her research, and it will expand the opportunities that she's been working on. But in the past, she's been a principal investigator for a nearly $6 million grant from the Susan Thompson Buffett Foundation. And through that, she's sought to understand how at-promise students experience campus life in order to be successful, and how programs and institutions create cultures that can validate and support at-promise students. As I mentioned, she's developed many digital tools through her interdisciplinary collaborations with other disciplines such as gaming. And she's essentially been also fortunate to get seed funding from very competitive USC programs such as the New Strategic Directions of Research Award and other small awards which allow her to develop large proposals, multi-million-dollar proposals, for instance, to understand how to embed mental health services in non-traditional spaces. I'll finish with quotes from her peers. I'm just telling you what I've learned about her from a couple of pages that were provided to me in a conversation with her. But I think her peers are probably best positioned to really speak to the impact of her work. I'll start with a quote from her dean, Dr. Pedro Nogueira. He's the Emery Stoops and Joyce King Stoops Dean and a distinguished professor of education at the USC Rasia School of Education. And he says, Zoe Corwin is an incredibly creative and innovative scholar. Throughout her career, Zoe has extended the boundaries of ethnographic research to delve into topics not covered by traditional scholars. Her work on skateboarding, for example, has been widely heralded as groundbreaking. Her ability to connect with people allows her to transform the typical relationship between researcher and subject. The people she has studied and written about don't think of themselves as research subjects. Rather, because of the respectful and trusting relationships she is able to forge, they regard themselves as collaborators and regard Zoe as a genuine friend. Remember, nothing about us without us, and she exemplifies that. Dean Nogueira also talks about the quality of Dr. Corwin's work, but I'll move on now to a different quote from one of her peers, Dr. Adriana Kezar, who's the Wilbur Kiefer Endowed Professor and Dean's Professor of Leadership at USC, and she's the Director of Promoting Equity in Higher Education at the Puglia Center. And Professor Kezar writes that Dr. Corwin's work works to develop video games as a way to scale college knowledge to support high school students. Her digital equity work with Cal State Dominguez Hills, she cites that, And she cites Dr. Corbin's work to scale the best practices in college transition programs on campus through the promoting and at promise student success. So she goes on to summarize by saying these projects are all informed by deep and meaningful community engagement, whether it be campus, high school, or local and regional community partners. Zoe cares about mutual relationships, impact, and supporting the most marginalized populations in society. You did offer me some applause, but I hope it'll be far more enthusiastic for this very distinguished and committed scholar, Zoe Corbin.
Long pause for the photo. Sure. Wow. I'm humbled by this honor and deeply grateful. And as I accept this award, I would like to honor two colleagues without whose support my research could not have been possible. Diane Flores, who had to leave a little earlier, and I have worked together for 20 years. She has coordinated countless logistical details and done so with great care in order to be able to engage community members and in our work. And I know many of you know a Diane Flores who doesn't get the accolades, but who you would not exist without. And then Christine Rocha over here. Christine has been a phenomenal colleague for the past decade, partnering with me on many different community-based projects, and somehow I've roped her into marching in the Mexican Independence Parade in East LA next to a mobile skate ramp, and promoting digital campaigns at Cal State Dominguez Hills, taking selfies with the mascot. So please join me in recognizing my colleagues as well, Diane and Christine. So I really wish you could all see the faces of all the people I've been thinking about since I was notified of this great honor. Really 20 years worth of community partners. Many of the faces pertain to high school students, teachers, college counselors. Ms. Kim Thomas-Barrios over there knows many of them, and post-secondary practitioners who understood that their perspectives could help improve the educational landscape in our country. More recently, those faces have included skateboarders from diverse backgrounds who are partnering with us on understanding connections among mental health, skateboarding, and community. I am indebted to all of them for sharing their stories with me, for their thought partnership, for the engagement in designing innovative creations like the games, and for their patience as I navigated a very particular research positionality as a white woman partnering with folks with very different life experiences to my own. Their insights have been vital in the way that the Puglia Center has been able to inform policies and practices in the state of California and nationally, truly. So their voices have impacted national policy. And on a personal note, I'm indebted to them for adding profound depth to my life by enriching how I understand social life and how I engage with our city, and for guiding me as an educator, an activist, and a human. Doing effective community-engaged research, like you can say you engage with the community, but like engage can be like this, like effective community research is challenging in the most positive sense, and it should be. Engaging in community takes great intentionality and reflexivity and time. As faculty, we're rewarded for publishing articles and bringing in grants, but engaging meaningfully with community and dedicating ourselves to work that is impactful, that's not a metric we're measured by. It's actually quite disconcerting to think about the funding that goes into research and interventions without requiring researchers to vet ideas and practices with community members, but it happens all the time, and I see several of you nodding your heads because you know what I'm talking about. Imagine what could happen if funders prioritize supporting research that involves community members and included compensation for community members' time and for deliverables that resonated with community members, so not just those articles, but reports and graphic novels and videos and games. We need more games. Imagine what could happen if students and faculty and staff broke down the institutional silos and collaborated with each other and with community members in meaningful ways. To do so, we would need for our institutions and academic disciplines to value those types of partnerships. JEP and the Office of the Office of the Provost Collaboration Fund, I know Sylvia's here somewhere who runs that fund, are stellar examples of what that can look like. And imagine what would happen if community partners asked critical questions of researchers and held us accountable for sharing findings in relevant ways. I can see it. Together, our impact would be impactful. Thank you so much. Thank you for this honor. It really means a lot.
Good evening. My name is Lizette Sarate, and I serve as the program director at the USC McMorrow Neighborhood Academic Initiative. My people. In this role, I am privileged to get to live out my dream of serving students from my own community. I grew up around USC, and I was fortunate to be a student in the USC NAI program. NAI was my community as I navigated the college pathway. Once I got to USC, however, I found a community at JEP. After reading an ad in the Daily Trojan that the Readers Plus program was looking for student workers, I made my way over to the JEP house. This was back in the 1900s. It's true. I applied and I landed a job as a reader at Folt Learning Center, where I'd gone to school. There's my principal over there, Miss Murray. She wasn't my principal in the 1900s, by the way. I got this job, and soon, my job as a reader became more than a job. JEP became a place of belonging. It was home. I was accepted. I felt safe. I felt comfortable going into the JEP house. But beyond all of that, that is where I found my calling. Working one-on-one with students gave me a sense of purpose. That wasn't work. Going to Folt to get to hang out and read with amazing kids, that was fun. That was the highlight of every single day I got to go. So my work as a reader in the USC Readers Plus program allowed me to see what a life of service to youth could be, and thus I embarked on a career in education. I don't know that I would have wound up where I am today had it not been for the life-changing experience that JEP gave me. Tonight, I am honored to present the Desiree Benson Award. This is a very special award, and it's being awarded to a very special honoree. This award was established in the year 2000 to honor the life of a brilliant work-study student, Desiree Benson, a member of the USC Readers Plus program who passed away unexpectedly in the middle of her senior year. The Desiree Benson Work-Study Grant was created to pay tribute to the contributions to our community and dedication to service demonstrated by this promising young woman, and to recognize students similar to her. Work-study students committed to making a difference and eager to use their skills and talents to inspire others. We would like to thank USC Financial Aid for sponsoring this award, particularly Jasmine Mencias Pablo, the Senior Assistant Director of USC's Financial Aid. Desiree was an inspiration to so many, myself included. I began my work with the Readers Plus program around the year 2000 when this award was established. Desiree's legacy lives on, and tonight I am honored to present this year's recipient of the Desiree Benson Award, Aisling Covell. Aisling, and wait, just you wait, because as I was learning about her, I was like, oh man, we're all gonna feel like slackers by the time we hear about what this amazing sophomore has accomplished. She is a sophomore majoring in human biology and minoring in addiction science. And in her time at USC, she has made an incredible impact on local, national, and international communities. She is the current chapter president, research lead, and project manager for the Team Awareness Combating Overdose, TACO Inc., a nonprofit started by USC students in response to opioid-related overdose deaths in the community. Outside of her official position, she works with their distribution team to distribute fentanyl test strips and nasal Narcan, which are used to prevent and reverse potential opioid overdoses. As chapter president, Aisling works with over 25 active members to serve USC and the surrounding community. This semester alone, her chapter has distributed over 450 fentanyl test strips to community members, and she has spent over 50 hours serving USC's chapter. Madeline Hillard, the founder of TACO Inc., shared this about Aisling, quote, "Community volunteers typically sign up for 1 or 2 weeks. Aisling volunteered every week for the rest of the semester since she signed up. Her passion for supporting the safety of her community was obvious from the consistency of her work, even when she received no pay or title in return. Since the fall of 2021 until now, Aisling has also been a part of MedLife, an organization that aims to help low-income communities access medical care. With MedLife, she has been able to travel to places like Lima, Peru, where she worked in mobile clinics and served hundreds of patients each day. And, as if they had any hours left in their day, she and the team also built an entire outdoor staircase while in Lima, Peru. Just remarkable. She also belongs, and we'll be here all night if I start listing every single thing she does, but we will not, because we want to celebrate all of the honorees. But she also belongs to the American Medical Women's Association, where she has volunteered at the St. Francis Center, a food bank near here. I am beyond inspired by Aisling's commitment to making a difference in the lives of others through her service, and for finding courage, love, and meaning in the face of tragedy. Aisling remarked, "Losing my father at a young age has made me passionate about helping people who struggle with drug use as he did. I still miss him, but losing him has unexpectedly brought immense depth, color, and love into my life. Somehow this tragedy has blessed me with the ability to relate to people from unique backgrounds and a desire to give back to my community. It is my distinct honor to present the Desiree Benson Award to an individual whom I am certain we will be hearing more about in years to come. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Desiree Benson Award, Aisling Covell."
I just wanted to give a quick thank you to everyone here tonight and for giving me the opportunity to earn this award. I'd like to give special thanks to Emerson, my PA and team lead in the JEP program, as well as my grandfather and best friend Thomas for being here today, and colleague and friend Amanda, who wrote me an incredible letter of rec and is no doubt part of the reason why I'm here today. So thank you all.
Now, I would like to introduce Tammy Anderson. Yes, Tammy. Tammy is the Associate Dean of Experiential and Applied Learning in the USC Dornsife College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. In this position, she offers strategic planning and support for Dornsife students, faculty, and staff who engage in experiential learning. Let's welcome Tammy.
Well, thank you so much. Lizette's a hard act to follow. But I'm so happy to see everyone. It is so nice to be here and to be able to just enjoy being together after all of COVID and all. So anyway, I'm so happy to be here to announce the award, the Barbara Seaver Gardner Award. Barbara was a visionary, brilliant, savvy, and fearless. These are all characteristics that people used to call Barbara, characterize her. And I'm looking at Brenda and Maria because we all worked with Barbara so closely. So we knew that she was so much more than those characteristics. She was amazing. She was the only woman to get a degree in civil engineering from Stanford University in 1946. She was denied admission to Harvard Graduate School of Business Administration, boo, on Harvard. But that's only because at the time, only men were accepted. So she went to Europe and became an economic advisor for the Marshall Plan. She later earned a master's degree and doctorate in economics from the place over there in Westwood before she came into the light and came to USC in 1969. Let me tell you a little bit about the Barbara Seaver Gardner Award. It was established in 2008 by then Vice President of Civic and Community Relations, Dr. Samuel Mark. Sam wanted to honor JEP's founder and first director. The award recognizes one graduating senior who, through successful participation in JEP over several semesters, has demonstrated steadfast commitment to community service, with an emphasis on the community surrounding the University Park campus. I knew Barbara so well. She would be ecstatic to hear about our recipient this year, Trinity Yang. Trinity, will you come up here? So I told Trinity, you don't have to worry about talking or anything. I'm going to do all the talking and say all this wonderful stuff about you. But I wanted you to come up because I wanted to see how great you are, how cute you are. And we were talking at the table about enjoying the journey. So this is part of the journey. Part of the journey. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this wonderful person here in front of you. She is graduating with a major in health promotions and disease prevention and a minor in gender and sexuality studies. Over the last 3 years, Trinity has acted as various leadership roles, including Vice President of Service and President for the Alpha Phi Omega APO, a community service organization at USC. In her positions, she has organized large-scale service events, established numerous new partnerships with local nonprofit organizations, and has been active as a volunteer with almost 10 different organizations. Trinity has also participated in JEP, of course. She has been in various mini-team assignments, supervised other mini-teams in her role as program assistant, and volunteered with the local Orthopedic Institute for Children as part of JEP's Trojan Health Volunteers. Trinity has accumulated over 150 hours of service independent from her involvement in APO and JEP. Here are just some of the highlights of her volunteer service. She mentored and assisted 20 high school students during their college application process at the Hey Mentor organization. She was a research assistant for the Children's Hospital LA and contributed to important public health research focused on empowering LGBTQ+ students and students of color. In her work with the LA LGBT Center, Trinity developed and facilitated workshops regarding allyship, LGBTQ identity, and sexual health resources. What Trinity says about her own experience. As I act in service toward the community's empowerment, I find a community that reciprocates with connection, vibrant perspectives, and kindness. They instill in me a sense that the world is a beautiful place with beautiful people. Growing up in a lower income school district, I remember how my own path to success in the classroom and beyond was heavily supported by volunteers. I remember my volunteer, Christine, was a key to uplifting my education. Beyond helping me with my language arts competence, Christine inspired me to enjoy learning. I imagine my education-related community service in the UPC area has had a similar effect by bolstering students' passion for the subject, and that can shift their relationship with learning and perhaps excite them to seek even greater academic heights. What her recommenders say about Trinity. Dr. Ashley Bennett, Clinical Assistant Professor of Pediatrics at Children's Hospital LA, says, I have advised or consulted on dozens advocacy and service projects developed by students and trainees at our various levels, undergraduate, graduate, postdoc. Trinity is hands down the most skilled and intuitive social entrepreneur I have ever met. She finds opportunities to promote social change in any way she can, always centering the needs of the community as she is working with. Justin Chang, chapter advisor for USC's chapter of Alpha Phi Omega, says, not only does Trinity hold a passion for being a well-rounded leader, but she also has the thoughtfulness and discipline to effect actual change. I want to thank you, Ms. Trinity, for all the work you have done, all the service you have given, and present you with this Barbara Seaver Gardner Scholarship presented to Trinity Yang for steadfast commitment to community service. Okay, our next presenter is Nicole Jane. Nicole graduated from USC in 2010 and pursued her master's degree in education policy at Harvard. Yay for Harvard this time. Since then, she has worked on the policy teams at Chicago Public Schools and LAUSD and is currently working in LA County's Economic Opportunity Department. Nicole, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Tammy, thank you for that kind introduction. Very happy to be here with all of you today. I can't believe it's been 16 years since I was a freshman here at USC. Every time I walk this campus, I think of myself as a young, vibrant, energetic 18-year-old. And then I look around at all of you students, and I suddenly feel very old again. I remember the day I applied to become a tutor at JEP Readers Plus. I saw a flyer hanging in Tabor Hall that read, "Be a tutor and earn money." At that time, I was mainly concerned with finding a paid job, but little did I know that this small decision would impact my career for the rest of my life. My supervisor, Tina, at the time, encouraged me to lead program design for Readers Plus, consult for schools, and support graduate and undergraduate students. I can say without hesitation that the time at JEP provided me with the valuable skills that I've carried out through my career in public service and in education. That place we endearingly call JEP House really served as a second home for me. I always found it to be a place I could escape to in between my stressful classes and bury myself in the great work that they do. It is truly an honor to be here today, as it has come full circle for me. I will forever be thankful for mentors like Tina, Susan, and Tammy for supporting me throughout my career as well as my personal life. I'm honored and humbled today to present the Grace Salvatori Awards. Now on to the award. In 1992, in memory of his wife, Grace Henry Salvatori, established the Grace Forward Community Service Scholarships. These were created to recognize and award students in the Dornsife College of Letters and Arts and Science. Each lucky winner, receives $10,000 award. This year's winners include Anish Kushalapa, Maithili Iyer, and Fifi Wan. Please welcome our first awardee, Anish, to the stage. Anish is a first-year student who is currently majoring in applied and computational mathematics. Oh my God, it's intense. He has been tutoring fourth grade students in computer science and coding. He's part of the undergraduate student government on the executive cabinet. He's also volunteered for the USC Shrine Peace Garden, where he developed a sustainability-focused garden. One of his recommenders said this about Anish. Anish is not a student who applies for positions or volunteers for service to be recognized. Instead, he is one of those rare students who truly puts himself forward for the greater good. Congratulations. All right, next up is Maithili Iyer. Where is she? Maithili is majoring in health and human sciences and is minoring in gender and social justice. She is currently the Trojan Family Outreach Chair of the USC Hellenes and is passionate about the intersection of psychology and advocacy. She has recently worked on the administrative side of mental health through her clinical internship at the Korean Youth and Community Center. If this isn't enough, she is also working as a peer educator for USC's relationship and sexual violence prevention. Throughout her experiences, she states, "My service experiences in the surrounding community have inspired me to incorporate trauma and racial equity-informed lenses into my career as a practicing clinical psychologist." Congratulations. Last, please welcome Fifi Wan. Fifi Wan is currently a sophomore majoring in human biology and health promotion and disease prevention. She has worked as a TA for JEP's Young Scientist program, designing and leading hands-on science labs that spark young students' curiosity about physical, marine, natural, life, and engineering sciences. She has also volunteered as an educational consultant for Accept ED, as well as the Department of Cedars-Sinai. In describing her experience, she says, This experience was incredibly rewarding and fulfilling, and I feel grateful for the opportunity to have made a positive impact on the lives of the people I work with. Great job, Kiki. Truly, I'm so impressed by these three students, talking to them and sitting down with them. I can't believe how much they've accomplished within only a very short few years, and I truly hope that they'll continue serving the community and really focusing on their own careers to public service as well. So, congratulations. The next award is the Dick Cohn Award for the Graduate Engaged Scholarship. The next presenter is Alex Tron, who is an alum of the USC Gold School of Law and winner of last year's Dick Cohn Award. They currently serve as an expungement attorney for California Rural Legal Assistance in Oxnard, California.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Alex Tron, and I was a recipient of the 2022 Dick Cohn Award. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting this year's Dick Cohn Award for Graduate Engaged Scholarship. Now, as a law student at USC Gould School of Law, I was the pro bono coordinator for the Public Interest Law Foundation and helped to engage law students at Gould with expungement opportunities with the Social Impact Center so that low-income individuals could clear their criminal records and help provide stability for themselves and in their lives. I myself was a homeless and living in my car about 6 years ago, and I know that it is because of a lot of luck and a lot of privilege that I was able to avoid a criminal record myself. Now, working with California Rural Legal Assistance as an attorney in my home of Ventura County, I'm able to engage with law students and help them assist with clinics. In addition, through the Social Impact Center, we continue to engage with USC students to help with the expungement process in Los Angeles. My whole life I've been a nerd. Being born with the last name Tron, I figured I was just going to lean into it. But an adage that really stuck with me since I was a kid was what Uncle Ben, Peter Parker, spoiler alert, that's Spider-Man, his father figure tells him about life. With great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. As grad students, we are given a great amount of power to influence both people's lives and the policies that will impact them throughout the rest of their lives. The life of a grad student is one filled with stress, conflicting commitments, student loans, and a lot of late-night caffeinated writing. Throughout all of that, it takes a lot for an individual to stop and consider the ways that they will be able to take the knowledge that they've gained and use it to make a more just and equitable society. Taking time to recognize those individuals for their hard work and dedication is vitally necessary, and that's why the Dick Cohn Award is so important. One of the reasons I went to USC was to engage with other students to make the world a better place. USC has a strong tradition of student engagement, with thousands of students devoting time, energy, and passion to supporting community organizations while applying emerging knowledge and skills. Named in honor of Richard Dick Cohn, the Dick Cohn Award for Graduate Engaged Scholarship is intended to honor and recognize the efforts of graduate students who can bring advanced awareness and skills to specific community concerns. Dick was the beloved director of the USC Joint Educational Project from 1980 to 2002 and was a pioneer in the field of service learning and community engagement. Driven by a deep commitment to social justice and education, Dick effectively pushed universities to reconsider the role they play in their communities and was instrumental in bringing national recognition to USC's K-12 partnerships. JEP received a large and exceptionally strong set of applications this year, with students doing incredible work across a wide range of disciplines and degree programs. This reflects a promising trend, increasing engagement by graduate students at USC who have had the support they need to pursue service and engaged scholarship. With that being said, JEP wanted to recognize two finalists, Jody Leo and Maya Yanez, for their exceptional applications for the Dick Cohn Award. Jody Liu is a PhD candidate in urban planning and development. Her work focuses on giving a closer look at how planning concepts are mobilized to support community safety initiatives and gather in-depth interview data from residents living within LAPD's community safety partnership zones. Now, Maya Yanez, or Miss Maya as she's known to her students, is another PhD candidate, this time in geobiology. Maya works to help tutor young students to participate in STEM, endeavoring to foster a culture of scientific inquiry, curiosity, and capability within the communities surrounding USC. While I didn't receive the award this year, I just wanted to take a moment and congratulate our 2 finalists with a round of applause. Keep up the good work that you're doing. Now on to our 2023 winner of the Dick Cone Award, Blanca Ramirez. Blanca is a daughter of a Mexican immigrants who grew up in a Latinx neighborhood, surrounded by the fear of immigration enforcement. Her parents' experiences and stories of neighbors' struggles with immigration issues inspired her to pursue a research agenda focused on understanding how immigration enforcement works and how it intersects with other forms of inequality, such as race and gender. As a graduate student, she has been dedicated to making her scholarship meaningful beyond academia. Her research involves interviewing families affected by deportations, engaging with immigration attorneys, and studying ever-changing immigration laws. By emphasizing engaged scholarship, she acknowledges the oppressive structures faced by marginalized communities and centers those communities' power and agency. Her ultimate goal is to address systems of exclusion and contribute to the fight against inequality. Blanca's first foray into being an engaged scholar was working as a co-editor of the Center for Immigration Integration's Immigrant Integration Wire blog. She identified the need for information in an accessible manner for the community and created a Q&A format where she interviewed community activists directly from nonprofit organizations and featured their expertise on timely issues. In addition, Blanca received the 2022 Distinguished Graduate Student Paper Award from the American Sociological Society for her piece entitled Excluding Criminals or Mothers, How Vicarious Experiences Shape Legal Attitudes and Immigration Enforcement. Most recently, Blanca has contributed to engaged scholarship through her work with the Orange County Justice Fund, OCJF, a nonprofit organization focused on challenging immigration enforcement and assisting immigrants in the removal process. She began by offering pro bono consultation for grant applications, using her expertise to secure funding for programs like Cafecito Contigo, a healing circle for formerly detained women, and additional immigration legal services. Currently, she's collaborating with OCJF on a joint research report, The State of Immigration Enforcement in Orange County, which highlights both the successes and challenges faced by immigrants. This report, which is set to be released soon, emphasizes the local immigrants' rights movement's gains and the emerging challenges stemming from a new local immigration court. By working together with OCJF, she aims to bring attention to the lack of immigration legal resources in Orange County. What I found personally striking about Blanca is her lived experience and unparalleled work ethic. She has taken the perspective she gained as a child and transformed it into a substantial body of work that has directly benefited our Southern California community. As Blanca describes it herself, she wants to make her work and scholarship meaningful and applicable outside of the ivory walls of our prestigious academic institution. I know from my own life that it is possible to understand a person's plight, but lived experience is truly what changes your perspective and provides the motivation and drive that can fuel an individual to greatness. Blanca is truly one of those exceptional individuals, and it is an honor to present the 2023 Dick Cone Award to her. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Kara Lemma. Kara is a triple Trojan grad, having earned her bachelor's, master's, and PhD in sociology in the sociology department while working at JEP. She serves as the senior researcher at Loyola Marymount University's Center for Catholic Education, which is housed in the School of Education. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. When I was an undergraduate, President Stephen Sample used to start every single speech with, "Isn't it a great day to be a Trojan?" And we'd all go, "Fight on." So isn't it a great day to be a Trojan? Fight on. I'm pleased to be here tonight to honor this year's Extraordinary Community Service awardee. But before I do that, I've been asked to share with you a little bit about how winning this award myself back in 2001, which is amazing to think about that, how this award has impacted me personally and professionally over my 22-year career in philanthropy and education. So I'm going to take a few moments to do that. Thankfully, when I did win this award, I viewed the honor as not necessarily about being recognized for a job well done. I really took it to mean that it was a challenge to do more. So imagine how cheered I was to see President Folt up there saying, "Do better." So my message is to do more. In 1992, when Isuzu rodeos were trending, the summer before I entered 8th grade, my grandfather passed away unexpectedly. And my father had gone up to Portland, Oregon to sort of do that rite of passage where you clear out your parents' home. And he was with his siblings, and they found a stack of workbooks. And it was then that they realized that he had not completed the 8th grade. And that over the course of his life, he took these workbooks and studied from them in secret at night and had never taken the time to clear them out. So this was always in the back of my mind, all of the years that I went on to do what I thought were cool things. So when I was a graduate student, and it was right around the time I was at JEP, I decided to sign up at the adult literacy program at what was the Exposition Park Library, which I don't think is there anymore. They moved it. And I was paired up with a young woman that was in need of some reading support. Her name was Denise. Denise's formal education ended abruptly in the 4th grade. Her parents had migrated from Mexico to the United States for a better life for her. Her mother worked during the day and her father worked at night, and her grandparents looked after her. In the early years of our journey together, I came to understand her story of being a 15-year-old mother and struggling to do the things that we all take for granted. Many of the things that we take for granted. She worked night shifts so that she could devote her time and attention to caring for her sweet, sweet 2-year-old daughter, Allie. And during this journey, Denise had 3 goals. 3. Year 1, she wanted to be able to read a story to her daughter before she tucked her in at night. Think about that just for a second. Reading a story to your child before bed. Number 2, as she got promoted and moved on in life, she wanted to be able to read the birthday card that the office staff would sign for her, because the office staff would have you stand up and read all of the comments in the birthday card. Amazing, right? Third thing, and this was our final meeting, we worked for a year to do this, she wanted to be able to order off a menu at a restaurant without guessing what's on it or ordering what her neighbor ordered. So Denise always did more. She worked harder. She bettered herself in every way possible. So my lesson, the most radical thing a human being can do is learn to read. Another lesson, students, as in the case of our awardee who's going to come up here in a second, she does more. So tonight, I'm going to tell you a little about the Extraordinary Community Service Award. It was established in 1981 by Henry and Grace Ford Salvatori. Susan Harris talked a little bit about them. To recognize one graduating senior or progressive master degree student for his or her significant service, that's the operative word, significant, to the communities surrounding both UPC and HSC. So tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Kiana Huang. Come on up. Kiana is a health promotion and disease prevention major and a healthcare studies minor who's going to graduate in May. She's an absolutely stellar awardee. Come a little closer. It'll be like less anxious for both of us. There we go. She's the definition for all of us to do more. Fasten your seatbelts. It's time to boast about some of her amazing accomplishments. Okay, get ready. Kiana has volunteered with USC Science Outreach, Scout, serving as a student teacher, public relations coordinator, co-outreach coordinator, and session leader, where she was tapped with creating and teaching science experiments to LAUSD elementary school students and guiding Scout volunteers by teaching them how to instruct elementary school students, perform experiments, and conduct fruitful discussions. She's volunteered with the Los Angeles Christian Health Centers. While at JEP, she participated in 2 service learning assignments, teaching local elementary and middle school students about science and health subjects. She's a member of the Alpha Phi Omega. That's big time. I never made it that far, even with 3 degrees. Kiana has served different communities around Los Angeles by repainting buildings. She's creative, too. And murals in Compton. She's prepared bulk meals. I mean, I can barely cook dinner for myself. For those experiencing homelessness near Skid Row. She's organized bins of clothing for unhoused individuals through the Midnight Missions, and she's also hosted a lot of virtual events. She was the design lead for the Everyday Responder Project, which is a 501c3 organization, and in that role, she designs and curates educational materials, illustrates originally scripted modules, and communicates with board members and medical advisory board members to create medically accurate graphics for non-medical community members to learn critical care procedures. It's amazing. She's also organized a lot of fellowship events and promoted events on social media. She's arranged weekly rides for USC students in her role as a Tapestry college ministry volunteer. So while I've had an opportunity to brag about you, I want to talk a little bit about, I want to quote you. In her application, she had this to say, which I think was very impressive. Through interacting with each patient, I learn about how psychiatric disorders, ranging from schizophrenic disorders to anxiety disorders, could influence their everyday lives, as well as the quality of health care they receive. In serving this community, I learned the types of resources that are made available to them, such as case managers and lower cost of medical services, which allow me to learn how I could better serve their needs. Do more. One of Kiana's recommenders had this to say. Kiana is a dependable and hardworking individual who demonstrates a strong capacity to work with others, both in a team environment and with our students. She is the head illustrator for our medical education modules and consistently demonstrates great communication skills and openness to feedback from our medical advisors and executive team. Kiana always shows up to meetings with a can-do attitude and regularly challenges herself to take on ambitious projects and produce consistent, high-quality work. Despite balancing a rigorous academic and extracurricular workload, Kiana is able to meet all project deadlines and find new ways to make our educational content more engaging for students. And this was Willis Tang, the Chief Executive Officer of the Everyday Responder Project. Super amazing. So now I've had a chance to talk about you. Now I want to talk to you, with, of course, the whole group here. Did you know that there are 3 million nurses in the United States of America? This is according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I didn't know that. Did you know that there are 1 million doctors? I didn't know that. Did you know that there are 130,000 physician assistants in the US? Wow, you're gonna have to do more, right? I wanted everybody to take a minute, too, to think about how physician assistants have possibly touched our lives. I'm going to tell you some real-world stories, okay? This is one I was starting to tell you at the table. Several years ago, my grandmother tripped on her way out of the supermarket, and she fell and she split her lip, okay? You know, kind of serious for somebody in their 90s. And I went to the emergency room and I walked in and the physician assistant was there and said, just a second, Kara, she looks really bad. And I said, okay, and then I fainted. So the physician assistant had to pick me up off the ground while she's stitching up my grandmother's lip. So she had to do a little bit more. Okay, story number 2. Last year, a very good friend of mine had a very, very serious ovarian cancer scare. And it was the physician assistant that sat with her and held her hand while giving her the results back that it was negative. The physician assistant just took a little bit more time to sit with her. Amazing. Got a lot of work on your hands. And then the third story is relatively funny. My son had this random rash on his leg, and I went to the physician assistant, and I said, my son has this rash. I don't know what it is. And she goes, did you take him hiking? And I go, no, but his father did. It's all his fault. My husband took him hiking. Da, da, da. She looks at my son. She goes, how many times have you been hiking lately? He goes, well, I did hike with my dad, but I didn't go off the beaten path. But my mom sent me looking for golf balls in the hills. And I went, oh my God, the physician assistant did a little more, right? All right, so you got a big job ahead of you. I wish you all the best. Some of you may be wondering, wow, this woman Kara is getting up in front of everybody with her sunglasses on top of her head. Wasn't an accident. I have to tell you this. About 10 years ago, when I was getting my PhD, like sunglasses were kind of all the rage. And graduation is my favorite time of the year. So I thought, well, I'm going to get her a pair of sunglasses, you know, see what's trending. And so I went to the bookstore and I found a pair of sunglasses and I was shocked to realize that they're like about the same. So the vintage sunglasses are for you, a little gift. I hope you enjoy your graduation. This is an incredible honor, and please, everybody, stand up. This is this year's Extraordinary Community Service awardee, Kiana Huang.
Before I start, I just want to extend my deepest gratitude for the sunglasses, but also for the Extraordinary Community Service Award Board, Brenda especially, for giving me the opportunity to share about my experiences. And last but not least, my family, my dad, who is excitedly recording everything, and my brother. And yeah, I'll get started. Throughout the last 4 years of my academic career here at USC, I've been closely involved in several community service organizations. Since my freshman year, I have volunteered with Science Outreach. We visit 1st through 3rd grade classrooms at local elementary schools, some including Vermont and 32nd Elementary, most of which do not have an implemented science course due to limited resources. Our work largely consists of hosting science fairs, training new volunteers, and teaching science experiments such as elephant toothpaste and liquid nitrogen ice cream. I distinctly remember asking one 2nd grader what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he said that he wanted to be a USC Scout and a scientist. And moments like these have really made me fall in love with service and getting to know the community around me. In sophomore year, I joined Alpha Phi Omega, where I met Trinity, and it has taught me the principles of leadership, friendship, and service. In my junior year, I began volunteering through JEP by teaching human health sciences at Vermont Elementary and Adams Middle School. From preparing food for individuals experiencing homelessness at the Hollywood Food Coalition to teaching students about biomechanics, I've gone to learn about people's goals, struggles, dreams, and nightmares. One night at the Salvation Army, I was handing out hygiene kits with fellow APO members, and I had a newfound appreciation. Sometimes all someone needed was to show that they cared, and I came to realize that more often than not, they provided me with the same. This past year, I began to serve academically and medically through the Lifestyle Redesign for Chronic Conditions Lab by volunteering as a research assistant. I have worked closely with type 1 diabetic young adults, many of whom are treated through CHEC, by distributing surveys and collecting blood glucose levels. I've also volunteered closely with physician assistant providers at the Los Angeles Christian Health Centers, which are clinics surrounding Skid Row. Serving in the context of medicine has always been important to me as an aspiring PA. In learning about how conditions affect people's daily lives, I strive to learn about the stories about my patients in the future so that I can best serve them. While I have provided as much as I could throughout these past 4 years, they have taught me, these service organizations and community members have provided me with even more. They have taught me the importance of storytelling. We learn so much about history through these stories, and it's what makes us connect with one another. It helps me understand their struggles, but more importantly, it helps me be a true advocate for who I serve. They have also given me the best friendships in college. In volunteering with fellow club members, I've eventually formed some of my strongest friendships, and I really couldn't imagine my college experiences without them. Last but not least, they have taught me the importance of giving. Being at USC has provided me with so many opportunities, resources, and faculty support to help the surrounding community members. Through the act of giving to others, we are able to spread kindness, and although it is a little cheesy, we can all benefit from a little more kindness. As we approach graduation, I look back and reflect on my memories here at USC. Some of these memories are found on campus, such as attending our spirited football games, fight on, getting a matcha latte from Dulce, and staying up late at night with my friends studying hard, or hardly studying sometimes. However, most of these memories are also found outside of campus through these service experiences, such as chaperoning elementary school students at the California Science Center, meeting new volunteers at the food bank, and learning about medical protocols at street medicine clinics. I want to wrap up this message with a quote by Anne Frank. "How wonderful it is that nobody needs to wait a single moment to improve the world. Our acts of service do not have to be big to have a profound impact on others, and you'll never know how much you'll be impacted along the way until you try." Thank you.
Wow. You know, every year we have this celebration, and every year I'm just so struck by how amazing our students are, our faculty, our staff, and the community partners we work with. It's such a wonderful way to end the year every year to celebrate all of this amazing good work. I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations and thanks to all of our award winners tonight. I'm truly grateful for all of our presenters too. Every year it's kind of like a family reunion with folks who have been involved with JEP in some way and who come back to share a little bit of their stories and their history and their memories with us. This year somehow feels even more significant in some ways. You know, it's the culmination of 4 years for many of our students who are graduating who began in 2019, and then their college freshman year was disrupted by COVID. And so their entire time in college has been affected by this pandemic. So I'm especially grateful that we can be here in person tonight to collectively celebrate the achievements of our honorees. But I'm really struck by the determination and the resilience that was required for us to get here to this point. And even listening to the stories of many of our awardees, some of our presenters, a lot of people have experienced a lot of tragedy in their lives. All of us, I think, collectively have experienced some difficulties over the last few years. And it's just astonishing, frankly, to see the success and the compassion and the empathy and the success that so many in this room have demonstrated tonight. Our awardees' unwavering commitment to community engagement during these challenging times is truly inspiring. And the impact of their service during these years is that much more impressive. And I can only imagine where you all will go from here and what you'll be able to accomplish. So how about another round of applause for all of our ladies? So as we come to the end of this Community Service Awards dinner, I just want to thank everyone again for coming. I hope to see all of you this weekend here on campus. The LA Times Festival of Books will be happening. And as Dr. Folt mentioned, the Readers Plus program has a booth, and we'll be featuring Dr. Cast's wonderful STEAM-powered career book series. And also Nicole Jane wrote a book that will be featured on children and mental health. So if you're there on Sunday, please stop by booth 508 and come say hello and take part in those activities. Also want to give a shout out to some of our community partners who are involved in this. 826 LA has a booth, hello. And I know Tracy Murray, your Fauché Jazz Band, will be performing as well. So it's an extended JEP family reunion this weekend as well. So good luck to all of the students present. Good luck on your finals. And congratulations to all of our graduates. Thank you all again for coming tonight, and serve on.